Okay, so let's start just to save time. So thank you everybody that's joining us today. I'm super happy, super excited to present an amazing guest for this industry session. Today with us is Roy Hamilton, has an amazing trajectory. He's also a Berklee alumni, which we should all be proud about. So yeah, thank you for joining us today. And I would like to start if you could tell us a little bit about you, about your trajectory, because it's just amazing. So yeah.
Yeah. So, well, I guess I have to go back to the beginning. Um, even my name, it's I got my name from my father and my grandfather. My grandfather started us in the music industry, music business back in the 50s and 60s. He was a very successful singer and a songwriter in his day. He came up in a very interesting time in the music industry where new ground was being covered. African American artists were having success in the music business as well, climbing the popular music charts. And my grandfather was one of those artists. He was also very influential on artists like Elvis Presley, Sam Cooke, man, just to name a few. But yeah, he was another one of those artists that came up in a time when it was really the music business was being built back then, as you know. So I was born, third generation music business, part of a family. I kind of came into it as young as 5 years old. I remember sitting, listening to my grandfather's records and listening to all of this interesting music and hearing these stories about about music and how music is made. So that was my origin. And around high school, I think in high school, I really figured out that I wanted to I wanted to work in the music business in some way, shape, or form. And I was really keen on finding my own way to not step away from my family, but kind of create my own identity and do something unique. And I always thought that it would probably have something to do with being a rapper or some sort of something like that, or some sort of artist. And every time I had gotten a record deal or anything that happened that was significant, it always led me back to music production, and some type of A&R job, some type of A&R work. Always. It's like it always came back full circle. For instance, my first album that I made on RCA Records as an artist, when I was finished with the album, right after my album was done, they had gotten rid of the entire urban music department at RCA Records, all of it, everyone, new artists and artists that were already established. And I didn't have a record label, I didn't have a record deal, but I had an entire album. So I started to play the songs from the album for different artists, and artists started to buy and cover the songs that I had. And I got an opportunity to go into the studio and produce those songs. And that was just one example where something like that happened. And time and time again, that's how it went. I would produce songs and be really good at writing them. I was always good at, I guess, being able to pitch my own songs and promote my work, and very good at being able to like knock on doors and just get things done, just try my best, and say, hey guys, I have some songs, are you interested, let me play my music for you. I guess you call it like a good hustle, like it's like I got to get out here, I got to do it, I got to work. And I did that for a very long time, and then I had a couple of big songs that I produced and written that happened, and then one thing led to another, and then I started to develop artists, up and coming artists, like people who had talent as producers or songwriters. And after a while, my name started to buzz around the business and stuff, and I gotten offered a couple of job offers, but the one that I went with was at Capitol Records as director of A&R. I worked closely with Andy Slater, who was the president at the time, and he became a great mentor to me. Around the same time, I also had a production label with, while working at Capitol, I also had a production label with a partner of mine over at J Records with Clive Davis. So he also became a mentor of mine as we were working on this project. And then fast forward a bit more into the future, I saw that as Capitol Records and the music industry was changing, I noticed that everything was going digital. It was the inevitable. Artists would have a lot more freedom to create and to distribute their music, promote their own music, and I liked where it was going. So I did something really interesting. After my Capitol Records contract ended in 2008, I took 1 year off from music. First time in my life I ever did this. I took a complete year off from music. Um, I traveled a bit. I went to Europe. I went to some different places and just kind of took a break. And when I came back from this vacation or this hiatus, I decided that I wanted to go back to college. So I didn't do the Berklee college thing until I was almost 30. I'd already been very successful as a music producer and as a songwriter, very like highly successful. But I realized that the business was changing, and the music business program and artist management, a lot of it revolved around the new way that things were going, digital, thinking about direct to fan marketing and really becoming close to the people directly instead of having the label always or someone in between the relationship. And I love that. And I was just drawn to it. So I did a 2 year program. Most of it was online. Some of it I actually came to the campus for. Um, and yeah, that's actually how I did it. And when I came out of it, I got the idea that I was going to start this artist development brand called the Singers. It wasn't called the Singers Company then, but as I was finishing up my program, that was the business model that I built. I said, yeah, this is what we're going to do because I've been on the label side. I know what it's like to work with these companies. I know what it's like to work with artists. And the more freedom that artists are going to have to create and to work and put their music out, they're still going to need people that know what they're doing, that understand both sides to help, sort of be that bridge in that medium. So yeah, so today, I started as of 2 years now. We're a 2 year old startup, the Singers Company, and yeah, we're working on a lot of exciting projects. And I just took you through like 20, 25 years of a story, kind of compacted into about 5 minutes. And yeah, that's the story of me uh, wrapped up.
That's amazing. You talk a lot about so A&R,
Yeah,
this job and how like the industry is changing constantly. And I guess that's something like as emerging artists, producers, and members of like emerging members of the industry, mostly like graduating students, we
yes.
worry about this a lot and like not being updated on where is the place to go as an artist, as a musician in general. So I wanted to ask you, like, what was your experience like growing as an A&R within Capitol Records? What do you think is like evolves around being an A&R?
I'd say one of the keys, the main keys to my success as an A&R person is being a great listener. I think the better you can listen, not only to just music, but to the wants and needs of your artist, specifically to what they're looking for musically. Being able to have an intuition about how that person's feeling, and it's a lot. It's a feelings job, obviously, emotions, and listening. Being a great listener, I'd say that for me has been probably one of the greatest assets, is being able to listen. And then the second one that I had to develop over time, over a great deal of time, is the patience to you listen through a lot of music trying to find those big songs and trying to find the right material. So the patience to listen to a lot of music to find the right records, listening to different songs. Uh, I remember there were times when I was looking for certain samples for a hip hop project that I was working on. And we would listen to hours and hours of just records. We would just go to the record shop in LA. Like at the time, like Amoeba Music was like the cool record shop. We would just go buy a ton of records and vinyl and just go sit down and listen for hours until we found some kind of something that was a groove. It's like, yeah, that's it. And that could have took 4 or 5 hours of just listening, just waiting. So I say patience and yeah, and listening, being a great listener.
is there like a specific thing that you would like? I think it's like a sixth sense that A&Rs have. Is there like a specific thing that you look for in an artist, or that you like listen to and say artist is gonna be successful? Like, what's the process to select an artist and turn him into a successful person?
That's another great question, and I think it is something, an extra sort of sense that you have, and I I don't I don't know if I could take any artist and do this. I also think it's a combination of when you hear that artist and you also have a chemistry with that artist as well, right? Because you can hear someone with talent, but you and that person may not necessarily click and get on really well, just naturally. Like, man, you just meet somebody and it's like, man, I feel like I've known you forever. I just love you, man. You're like, man, let's work, and sometimes you have that bond with someone instantaneously. um so I think it's a combination of that too, right? It's like you hear it and then it's like, but you also know that you have a knowing about that person. It's like
Yeah.
I know where you're going, I feel you, you know it's that, and those two things together, I think the chemistry is very important as well.
And when you don't know the artist, if you would like have to select like a group of, if you like were giving some music about artists that you don't know, or like, yeah, new artists that are still growing and that are very new to the industry, would you recommend like anything that they have to add, or like anything that you listen to, and anything that's like key to the success of a project?
Yes. If I'm listening to something for the first time, um, generally I'm a first listen person where I can hear something the first time and I either, I like it or I don't, or I hear it and I can hear the potential or where it's going. Um, I can generally do that listening to something for the first time. But when you hear what I listen for too is especially vocally, is not only just a unique sound, but a passion and a feeling in the way the song is sang and the way that they're delivering their their music, their verses, their chorus, just the way it's sang, or the way the lyrics are put forward. I I think that's equally as important as what is being said, as what the lyrics are. You know, E- for me, that was a big thing. What drew me to listen to so much classic music and music, because people just left their heart and soul on these records. And you felt it, stuff that for me, I want to listen to someone sing and I get the goosebumps like all along my like arms, and just like whoo, like it gives me that feeling. That's what I listen for when I'm listening to music, new music. Yeah.
The importance of like delivering a message in a, that's key. And I think sometimes as musicians we forget it, we just like make music and make music and make music and
Yeah.
forget what's the message that we are delivering.
And
So
put the feeling into it when you deliver it. When you say it like you mean it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like you can say something, you can sing something, and then you can sang it with an SANG. I'm looking for that. And put some emotion in it and heart and soul, whatever you're singing. Don't just go through the motions. You know?
Of course.
Yeah.
um in terms of like the development of the artist, when you are selecting artists, do you prefer when they are already developed, or is there like a specific point in where they need to be in order for you to say, okay, I'm gonna get involved in your project? Like, where's the point like where record labels, A&Rs say, okay, I want to work with you?
Me, I like working with raw talent. So if if you've already been in vocal lessons, vocal training for some time, you've kind of put some time in there, and I can hear that you've worked on your ear training and your pitch is good, and um, that's a great foundation to have starting out. I think great A&R is the development piece where you can take a raw talent that's just the voice is there. Obviously, there's continue to develop their voice forever. If you're smart about it, you continue to develop your voice and protect your voice and care for it. But when you hear somebody that's got that, they don't have to have the songs yet. They don't have to have figured out their who they are per se as an artist yet. Like all of that will come in time. So yes, I like to work with raw talent in early stages.
Do
Yeah.
you take like also the management role when you're starting with this, or how separate is the management role to the A&R role?
It's interesting because in the process, sometimes I do take on some management duties. Um, I feel like every now and again, I am taking care of certain things like booking sessions or, putting things together that traditionally a manager would do.
Mm.
But sometimes, yeah, that's part of the job too, for sure.
Wow. Yeah, and then it's like a process, I think, and sometimes we also forget that we think like we get desperate. At least that happens to me. Like you expect results like in a fast I mean faster than you like it's normally normal for musicians.
Yes.
So what is like some recommendations that you would give like for strategies for emerging artists?
Specific to what though? Strategies specific to what?
um Growing as musicians, growing in their careers when they start off like as independent artists, is there like as an A&R and as a manager until some point, like any strategies for like for them to grow in audience, to get a better sound?
It all starts with songs. I often say this, and I say it with a lot of conviction and a lot of feeling about it. I sit here today because when at some point in my life when I was younger, I heard some songs being sang, and someone wrote those songs. And when those songs were being written, whether it was someone just sitting down a cappella, just snapping fingers, or they had sitting next to their guitar player or piano player or whatever, wherever this music came from, starts with a song. So I always say the thing that every up and coming artist should be figuring out and working on every day, if you can, are your songs. Writing new songs, improving the songs that you have now. Yeah, that's first and foremost, the songs. Um, I like that artists when artists do covers and post covers and things like that. I like that. That's good. It's good for the library of songs, and that can even help you write more of your own songs. The more songs, more of a library that you have. So I like that. I think cover songs are great. Um, I believe that another thing that artists should constantly look into doing is just reaching out and connecting with new people. I know that can be a struggle sometimes for some people to feel like they don't want to really do the marketing part of putting themselves out there. I know I struggle with that sometimes. I tend to like to be in the background. But if you've chosen to be like a front person, like I'm front and center as an artist, the shy thing isn't really a thing, right? Because you get all eyes are on you. So you
Yeah.
got to kind of you got to kind of work that out and learn how to just reach out and connect,
Yeah.
um, and expand your network, I'd say. And it's not always just about connecting with people in the industry. It's also about just making genuine fan connections. Like, you know, I will speak to another point. I think sometimes um, it's hard for people to differentiate between supporters and actual fans. So, and I'll explain what I mean. When we're working on our projects and we place them on our social media, we're generally kind of sharing it at first with more of our supporters, like friends, family, people that kind of it's not like complete strangers that just love your music. Yeah, that comes later. So I think that artists should constantly be thinking of ways to make fans, actual fans of your work. The person that's halfway across the world that doesn't know you, but they somehow heard your song and they just love what you're about. Now they're following you and telling their friends about you. That's a fan. It's not the same as like your buddy from college or a friend that knew you from the neighborhood. They're not really fans. They're supporters. They could be like, yeah, rooting for you. But yeah, fan building. And I think that takes some effort, and it takes stepping out of your comfort zone to meet new complete strangers and find more like-minded people that you don't know. And they may not even be musicians. They may just be people who love music and love to listen to music and can relate to the stories of what you sing about or what you talk about. And then you got fans. That's how you make fans. So that's my answer for that.
Of course, that's super important, like the genuine connections and
Yes.
knowing the people that follow you. Yeah. Um, so right now with the pandemic and with, like you said, the digital era and everything, so like the industry is like constantly changing, and we have to be aware of this. What do you think are like the biggest challenges that are facing the industry like currently? Is there anything that like recent graduates, emerging musicians should prepare for?
Yes. I think with the fact that right now live touring isn't really happening, that is the challenge for at least most people that I speak to. Again, a lot of my friends are artists and musicians that, up until a year ago, that's what they did pretty much 5, 6 nights a week is play live. So I think that comes with new challenges in terms of finding a way to create the same experience online, at least for right now. And possibly looking at that even when live shows and you can just go back to playing as much as you want live, looking at this as an option when you don't want to run around 5 nights a week, with a keyboard strapped to your back and like exhausted. Maybe sometimes you just want to take a month off and do all of your concerts live stream from home, and it could be a second option, when you just want to kind of kick back or travel to somewhere and do a writing retreat. And if you want to make some money, just do your live streams from wherever you've chosen to go for that month and have all your fans kind of tune in like this. I think it's created an opportunity as much as as a challenge, and artists that are flexible will see the opportunity there and work this into their current business model. I think you you'd be really wise to do that because it's a huge opportunity to give you back your time and that money that you were going to spend and to travel to get there. And let's face it, like I speak to some artists sometimes, like they'll say, I did these gigs, whatever. I didn't make any money on the gig. I actually lost money just to perform in front of for people. Well, it seems like with this option, right from your own home, with little to no sort of costs, right, at cost to set up that show, you can actually make money on a virtual show. At least some of the people I know are doing that really well with platforms like Twitch. And seems like this sessions live thing is a great option that's helping artists to make money. And there's a few other ones that are coming up now. So I like it, and I like what's going on.
Awesome. That's a good thing to know.
Absolutely.
Just I think, yeah, artists have become a little more doubtful, I think, on what to do with like their music, and I think it's normal due to the fact that like it's the first time that we've ever like lived through a global pandemic.
Right.
But yeah, but on the other hand, like I don't know if this is my perspective, but I would love if you could share it with us, your perspective on like fact that like I think it's actually a good time, for example, to release music just because of the fact that like a lot of people have more time in their hands just to listen, to
Yes.
sit down and listen and discover. So yeah, like talking a little bit about like the self-doubt that sometimes musicians have when circumstances happen.
Yeah. So again, and this came as a shock. No one saw this coming. No one's like, "Oh man!" Like and the singers company, the company that I helped to build, up until that happened, you have to understand. I'm based in Toronto now, so our clients and artists would come up from either the states or people would come over from. We had people come over that year from London, England. We had someone come over from Italy, so people would come to Toronto to record. And when that happened and the borders were closed, like we had a space and like no one was coming to the space. We had to limit who we were working with, and it made me look at it and say, well, yeah, it'd be great if like all of you right now were in this studio with me. Let's talk about it right now. If all of you were in here with me and I was doing this lecture right in the studio and I could show you my music and like, hey, this is what I'm doing. But this is the next best thing and this is what we have, right? So you have to be able to adapt and be flexible and be open to change. I think that's the big for me, that's been the takeaway. It's for me, I was feeling like, well, how am I going to do my job now? Like people I can't finish these projects. I had people scheduled to come fly into the country and work. Well, I quickly started to figure out how to utilize Zoom and other platforms that we were using and find a way to continue the work. And I can speak for myself personally. I'm saving time as well too. Um, it's less expensive for the artists that want to work with us now because we can cut costs because the travel costs aren't a factor. So again, and again, I'm an optimist. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm the optimist. You probably tell already. I'm always gonna try to figure out when I see something that's not going right, where's the opportunity? So again, I found that as an A&R and as a producer, how to make it work. Now, how does an artist make that work? That's a great question. The ones that I have seen doing it well, again, they're using the live stream platforms that actually enable them to make money from their shows, and they're offering something unique, and they're taking the time to make a nice cool set design in the corner of their place, and they're really being thoughtful and and giving people something that they can watch from the comfort of their own home. And again, I can tell you factually, some of my friends that are doing it, that are independent artists, they're working it and they're doing really well. And I'm proud of what they're doing because they're taking something that seemed like, the end of the world, and they're making it into something brand new. So I love that.
I think it's super important, and I think it applies for everything. Like, more than seeing the problem is finding the opportunity. And
Absolutely.
sometimes we forget this, even like with a pandemic, with everything. And sometimes, yeah, we focus a lot on the problem more than like what can we do with this problem. Because yeah, like what we're like, for me, I mean, I'm a music business student at Berklee, and what I see a lot is like more, I think, the importance of knowing how to deliver a message, even if you don't can't connect like live, like you said, and stuff like that. If you know how to deliver a message, what you want to say, you're good to go. And I think sometimes artists forget that we focus a lot on like what's going on.
Yeah. Actually, it's interesting you said that. I can take you back a bit in my story where I started. So I was making records, started working in professional studios back in like 1997. And at that time, they were still using the 2-track tape machine. You've probably seen this in a lot of movies and stuff, the tapes, the 2 spinning tapes. I was working in studios with those. Major studios, biggest studios in the country, that's what we were using. And that's next year, someone rolled a cart into the studio with a computer, an Apple computer, and they said, look, here's Pro Tools. We're going to start doing that on here. And the learning curve was crazy. I'm like, well, what? Okay, wait, now I'm going to do digital, but within a year, I was easily kind of transitioning into becoming a digital producer. And before I knew it, I can't even tell you the last time I used a tape, a 24 track tape machine, because now in Pro Tools, I got unlimited tracks. What does that have to do with right now? I'll tell you. So now in the age of where everything is going more virtual, again, I feel like I've had to again kind of make an adjustment to say, okay, how do I now do the digital producer thing and take it a step further and digitally and virtually apply what I do? Like you said, how do you still just get the message across no matter what the medium is? You know, don't let the fact that there's just a screen here and like you're not physically in the room, stop you. Don't let it, don't let us say, I can't do this. It's no people there. Well, they are there. It's just it's just different.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. And again, this is just me. I'm an optimist. I'm gonna tell you, I'm always gonna I'm gonna try to see the light in it, in the situation.
But I think
Yeah.
that's good. I think that's a good quality to have, and we should
Yeah.
all work on having that quality.
Yeah, you need it. You need it in this business. I'm telling you, because a lot of times, you're waiting for something to come together, and you have to keep yourself motivated and inspired until the big break or the opportunity happens. You know, everything seems to be slower right now. Like everything. Like even for instance, because of the year that I graduated Berklee, right now, just getting my transcript, I'm trying to like get my transcripts, and those are taking extra long just because of the time that we're in right now, and just everything is just it just takes longer. So everyone is just I noticed that people are a lot more anxious and on edge just because things are so slow. And I just think you have to take a deep breath and be patient and just keep pressing forward. That's
Yeah.
what I feel.
And talking about patience, um, could you tell us a little bit about your process in developing an artist? Like, what are the first steps? Like, how do you begin? How do you end?
Okay, I don't know that there's an end, but I will tell you where the handful of times that I've developed a talent, and again, it starts for me again. I'm gonna go back and say it again with the songs, right? We got to figure out some songs, and they got to be great songs, and that goes through phases. So I like to start sitting down writing a song. Um, I've had a few songs that we got done within days, like man, something just kind of clicked in it. It came together. Other times we've developed and crafted a song for months until it was like just right in there. It starts with the songs, and as we make these songs and more of these songs come together, the picture starts to come into focus. It starts to come into focus of who this person is through the messages, and you start to get a visual picture of these stories and what they're saying, and it's amazing to watch the transformation happen. By the time the record is done, suddenly you start to see ideas. Oh wow, I see the music video. Wow, I see how I want to dress. Wow, and then the visual part births itself out of the fact that the music is there. I don't know one artist that came to me with no music and just sold me on a concept like, hey, I'm gonna do this. I'm like, okay, but where's the music, right? It's like they come in with these records and then they're like, yeah, see, on this song, I can see myself wearing these colors and this and it's that. And I'm like, oh, I see it. Um, but again, it's the songs. It always starts with the music, and the music births everything else. So I have to say it's the songs. I'm
Yeah,
hardcore about the songs.
definitely. Super important.
I wouldn't even have a job. A producer can't produce anything without having music.
Yeah.
You know, a song, a composition, something to produce. So I love songs.
Yeah. No, everyone loves songs. Yeah, it's super important. um, what about like the the message? Like, is there like how do you like how can I put it in words? Like expressing the message through the music, through you as an artist, through the way you talk, through the way you like go to the audience. Is there like a specific like what's the process? I'm super interested in like knowing like how everything like goes together. Yeah.
But you got to be more specific, because when you
Yeah.
say the process, do you mean
Like
uh
um,
yeah, be
delivering the
more
message.
specific.
Um,
Lyrically, or do you mean the way that it's articulate? You mean like, or like the way how the song is sang, right? Because you can sing a song 1,000 different ways.
yeah, I mean, like as an artist, like totally. Like I think there are artists like that want to become like, for example, ambassadors of mental health and like show it through their music or
Okay.
like the intimacy with an audience, like stuff like that. Like works in everything in their career that it's demonstrated through their music, it's demonstrated through the way they talk, in which like everything goes with everything.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Um,
Mhm.
wow, it's a great question. I feel
Mhm.
that those types of artists that are change makers, social change, people who've been very revolutionary, and we can talk about artists going way back that were, talking about the issues, social issues, and things like this. Those people, that would just that I believe that's just who they are, and that's just who they were from the beginning. And it made total sense for all that could come out of their mouth was that those thoughts and those feelings, they just set them to rhythm and to melody, right? It's like that isn't something that you can just say to an artist, hey, okay, here's your gimmick, you're going to talk about, social injustices. No, this person already probably was all that was all they talked about, and then got this opportunity to start to put it into words and into music. And that's got to be authentic. That's not something that can be what do you call it, it's the word I'm looking for. It's not something that you can manufacture, is what I'm saying. That has to be natural. That has to be real. um I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I mean, as far as a process, I say you start even before songs. There, when people who you're talking about create those types of projects, and they do kind of have this innate sense of who they are, the kind of things that they want to talk about. I believe that's already was in their mind. They grew up on that stuff. That was happening in their home. That's what their parents probably fought for, these same types of rights, and enlightened that as a child they were turned on to these, or at some point they picked up a book or read something that's like, whoa, this is what's going on. Wow, this is what I care about, and this is what touches my heart. I want to turn this into music.
Of course.
So that's that piece. And then being consistent about it means you walk it, you talk it, you live it. Right after, now, you know you're talking about these things. This is what you're about. Everything around you should coincide with that. The the things that you're part of, the circles that you hang in, all of that becomes part of a consistency, that and the authenticity of that artist. Does that kind of answer what? Okay, yeah,
So, yeah, the essence
the
of a
essence of,
person.
yeah. And I think,
Super.
yeah, for most, at least some of the artists that I know of, historically speaking, yeah, they cared about this stuff, for ages. And um yeah, this is this is, yeah, this is part of it. All that authenticity. And now we're talking about, true artistry versus, manufactured sort of pop music, that for a long time that was a thing too, where
Mhm.
it was just about, yeah, let's just create some catchy songs that'll play a jillion times on the radio, a million times, and you know on to the next pop sensation. And then you have the art, what you're talking about, artists, true artists through and through,
Yeah,
with a message.
I think it's super. I don't know. I think more artists like that are coming up, and I think that's super inspiring because
It is.
it gives a good future to the industry. So I'm super like excited for that part of the industry.
Yeah. And
Um,
I can tell you also from a cross section. You probably notice everyone on here that's music business and management students that are studying that part of the business. We all know that when you have something very specific, that gives you a niche, that gives you that, it may not be 100 million people, but it could give you, say, 500,000 people that really care about that same issue. And now you have a niche, and now you have a community around what you're doing.
mhm.
And that's important too. When you're passionate about something, and suddenly there's this group of people out there that are also there for you. Yeah, we feel that way too. Now there's your fan base right there. Yeah. If no one else came to your show ever, that gigantic group of people, or that niche, that's your fan base.
Exactly.
And it doesn't have to be 100 million people. Does it? I mean, it just needs to be your audience,
Of course.
that you're the
That.
that you're the champion for.
Mhm.
And that can lead to an economy, and that can lead to a career, to a real career. So yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. We have a lot of questions
Let's
actually, and
get
I want
to
to
it.
like
Let's
start it.
get to some questions. Thank you so much. Your questions were great. I got an opportunity to really talk and,
Thank
and
you.
and share my thoughts. So let's get into some questions.
Yeah, sure. So we have Mar asking how can we get in touch and send our demos songs?
Oh,
How should we present in order for your company to be interested in it? So I'm gonna start with those two so I don't like
okay.
as
So yeah, for anyone who is participated here today, I will give you my direct email address. If you like to drop me an email, I will put it in the chat. Just let me know whenever I should put that in there. But yep, I gave you my email address. Please feel free to send me any music, anything you want me to listen to. If you like my advice, it'd be my pleasure. That was the first question. What was the second part of that question?
How should we present it in order for your company to be interested in
Perfect.
it?
So links are always good. If they're, if it's unreleased, a private SoundCloud link would be great. If it is something that's released already, just want us to listen to it, maybe review it. Again, link is good. SoundCloud or YouTube or Spotify, whatever. Any of those are good, along with maybe a bio, if you have one, like a sort of uh, paragraph or two of a bio. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And just tell us a little bit about who you are and what you're looking to do. See how we can
Awesome.
help.
Awesome. She also was wondering what are the services that you offer at the Singers Company, and do you have any prerequisites and as an independent artist that we have to consider before?
Okay, so we are a full service artist development company, and that means we handle everything from if you have a notebook with some ideas for songs, some lyrics, if you have a journal or a diary with things you've been writing in there that you want to one day turn into songs. We've built songs based off of pages from someone's journal. We've helped to build songs from voice memos on your phone. Here, I got this melody. I've been carrying this melody. I can't let this melody go. It goes like this. Seriously, we've started with artists and singers and songs from there. So it always starts again with the songwriting phase first, then we go into production, and we can help all the way up to marketing and promoting your music independently and helping to position you to be attractive to a record label, to a major label. To we love doing partnerships and production deals with major labels. I've been doing those my whole career, so it's very natural for us at a certain point to be able to take a project that we've just done and show it to our contacts at the labels. We help with pitching songs for film and television, for advertisements, film and TV shows. That means synchronization. Most of you know that term. Having a song, if it's appropriate, having a piece of it featured as a synchronization. And those are the main things we do: is the production, the songwriting, the career development. I enjoy doing mentorship. We do songwriting workshops from time to time, songwriting camps where we listen to and critique the music that you're currently making, give you some suggestions to make it better. All of the above. I don't know if I've missed anything. And again, project management that ties into it sometimes, where we're helping you from week to week, your plan over the span of an EP release. Okay, here's what we're going to do the first week up to week 4, first month, second month, third month. Yeah, we do all of the above.
Awesome. Wow. Thank you.
Yes, you're
And
welcome.
thank you, Matt, for your question. Um,
Great question.
so the second question, Melvin was asking, and I'm sorry, Melvin, I'm trying to understand the question, so please let me know if I'm wrong in anything. You mentioned that you prefer raw talent, but what happens with talents that have already been developed, but in other markets that do not include the US?
Great question. Is that music in English or is it in Spanish or is it in some other language? What language is the music in? If it hasn't been developed, if US isn't included.
It's in Spanish.
Okay. So for a project, I'd have to listen to it and just, it always comes back to the songs for me. However, if Latin music is really hot right now, even in the States. I mean, every time I turn on the radio, there's a song, some Spanish mixed with English going on, or it's a thing. So it's a really good time. I think it's just about listening to the songs and making sure it has an angle. It has an angle for the US market, because it's all about marketing it now. And that's when you add something relatable to the Spanish music that the US market can appreciate and embrace. So yeah.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you, Melvin, for your question. Mar asks, do you feel that it's smarter to release singles or albums nowadays? And what do you think about being on streaming platforms?
Great question. I like the approach of singles into the album. So maybe a round of singles, first single, second single, maybe third single, then an EP. Then you put out your EP album. I like that strategy. Um, what do I think about being on? I think it's a great thing being on streaming platforms. Uh, it's just a way for everyone everywhere to be able to access your music. And every time I see these artists wrapped that Spotify puts out that we get at the end of the year, you see how many countries that your music, people discover you in places, that otherwise they'd never hear of you. So I like it. I like streaming platforms a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Awesome. Claudia was wondering if, as a musical producer, what are the things you look forward when choosing artists to work with? Based on your experience, is it better to have a record company or production company, or being an independent producer that works also with independent artists?
I like the flexibility that I have now of working with both independent artists. I work right now as a producer. I work with artists that are independent, signed to independent record labels or like mini major labels and major label artists. I like as a producer being able to work with a variety of different talent because I tell you, one of the things that was a setback and kind of held me back when I was working at Capitol was I could only work with Capitol Records artists, and they didn't really want me doing too much outside of it. And if I liked an artist and they didn't really see it, then I couldn't sign them and work with them. So another part of enjoying this entrepreneurial venture with the Singers Company is having that flexibility to work with artists that I believe in and not having the restraints of corporate saying, we're not feeling that. So me love that. I love that angle. The other question was, what do I look for? Couple of things. I I like people that are a sort of, I guess, agreeable, sort of, that can take some of the things that as an experienced person, that can take some of my experience and apply it to what they're doing and not feel like they know it all. I feel like I want someone that's, it's coachable, I guess is what I'm looking for. Talent is a plus. Um, I like obviously everyone loves someone who can sing well and has good pitch and uh tone. That's always a nice beauty for the old ears. Feels good on the ears. Nice voice that's easy on the ears. Um you don't have to have your look put together yet. I think again, all of that comes out of once the music is there. So I'm not one to look at looks and all that stuff. I think that doesn't even matter. As a matter of fact, if you look at my Spotify playlist nowadays, these there's no face on a lot of these songs. It's just songs, and I hear a great song, and I don't know who's singing half of these songs that I love, and I'm pulling them from every genre. I'm just hearing stuff. I'm like, man, I like that. Add this to my playlist. I don't know what these people look like. I just love the song. And I love the music. So I'm that's back to again, it's the voice, it's the song, and the personality, the character of someone, the attitude. Yeah, those things. Um, I I don't I don't like to work with people like it's gonna be a lot of drama and headaches and stuff. I just like, good vibes, and yeah, just be creative. It's really what I look for.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Uh, is if someone presents you songs in a different language, should they send a translation too?
Not necessarily. No, not
Awesome.
not at first, because again, I have songs in my playlist that are in many languages, and I'll be the first to tell you, I don't know exactly what they're saying, but I tell you what, whatever they're saying, I feel it, and I'm like, oh man,
That's good to know actually.
yeah, yeah, I love that stuff, man. I love it. Just great music. Yeah, and I'll request the translation if I want to know what it is for sure. But you don't have to have that to send me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Um, when talking about releases, so Jason was wondering, so when releasing in singles, do you like recommend a specific time between each release?
Well, that's there's been some debate there about how frequent to release singles. I've heard people say, well, I'm going to put out a song a week. I've heard a song a month. We like to go with the every 2 to 3 month strategy, because I just feel like you want to let a song circulate and really explore as many options as you can before you just jump to the next song. So anywhere, I mean, I've heard from a week all the way up to us, like we up to 3 months. We think, putting out a single every 3 months is a great idea. And we've seen some success doing it that way too.
What about before the full album drops? Is there like another time period?
Uh,
Is
yeah, maybe 2 or 3 singles, and then the album or the EP, full EP, or the EP album.
Okay. Um, and our last question was, do you have any internships on your company for songwriters?
Absolutely, we do. We do. We actually do. There was on the website, I think it's still there. We had an internship page, and so far we've had 2 Berklee interns over the past 2 years that we've had that we've worked with through the experiential program at Berklee. Yeah. So in both cases, those artists, because this was before COVID, they had traveled to Toronto and actually worked with us in Toronto at the office for the summer. Um, and they had a great time. They actually gave their testimonials as well on our website. So yes, we do have a page on the site. I have to check and see if it's active, but yeah, we do have them. You just have to ask about it.
Awesome.
Yes,
Thank you very much.
you're most welcome. Is that it? Any other questions?
Do any of you guys have any other questions?
All right, I guess that is it.
I think we're good to go.
I,
Oh,
oh,
we have one last question.
yes,
What about for assistant producers? Do you have any?
absolutely. We want interns in all of the departments.
Awesome.
Yes, production, songwriting, publishing, A&R. I mean, come on. Let's build together. I'm ready. Let's do it.
Oh, thank you so much for your time, Ro. Thank you for everyone that joined us today. I think it
Thank
was
you all.
an amazing hour. Super, 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 like everything you said, I think it's like it helps us a lot, all of us. We have a lot of songwriters, producers, A&Rs here. So
Yeah, you're
thank
all
you so
welcome.
much for
And
your time.
yes, and again, we are just a 2-year old baby startup company, and we have a great big vision for the long term, and we hope to be one of the next great labels. So yeah, we're looking for great partners and people to work with. So I need to put my email. I did say that. Thank you for reminding me. It is Roy at the singerscompany.com. There you go. Absolutely. You're very welcome. So yeah, I look forward to hearing from you all. I can't wait. I sucks I couldn't see everyone's faces, but it's cool. You all reach out. Anyone who wants to meet and chat and do a Zoom call sometime, please feel free. It's great. This is what I do. A big part of what I do also these days, aside from producing and helping to build this company, is I enjoy mentorship. I enjoy doing things like this. 10 hours out of my week, I literally just do this individually with people. Every once in a while, I get to do a group or workshop or something, but more often, I just take time and I pay it forward, with my experiences and share. So anytime, feel free.
Thank you so much.
You're
So
most welcome.
guys, if you could all turn on your cameras, we're gonna take a quick picture with Roy.
Hey, all right, I get to see everyone. It's exciting. Wow. This is so cool. Whoa. Hello. We're taking a picture too. This is great. Wow.
Claudita, I think some of them cannot turn their cameras. Could you help us a little? Thank you.
Yes, I'm on it.
We can take two. We'll take two. I'm gonna do one where I'm gonna flip. Oh, yeah, that's good. Flip this around. Okay, great. Whenever you're ready. This is cool. Wow.
Already
Mark, Catherine, should we wait for you guys or can we take the picture?
My camera is not working, so just go ahead and take the picture.
Okay, so I'm gonna take the picture right now. So can all you guys smile, please?
Hey.